Hello everyone, this is what we are going to find out next. Probably this is to do with one of the symbols that we will be studying, and how to find out about that. Let's try to get into the details one by one. So this is what we are going to study, and we need to focus on this part. And this is what is been related to the circle and the square, but in a slightly different way. Let's try to study about that also. This method is also called as squaring the circle. Squaring the circle is a very important concept which need to be studied in detail. So we had studied about the cube as such. We are talking about three-dimensional figures. This is the Gann emblem, which is an interpretation about the circle, the square, and the triangle. Gann also writes in his book, The Law of Vibration, which is collection of the articles about W.D. Khan. He says, you have got to prove everything in a circle. In a square, you have got to know how a pyramid stands in a circle to a square, and how they all match up. So, knowing how a circle fits into a square has got different methodologies. We'll try to study that. One of the methodologies is where we fit a square inside the circle, and we know that area of this circle is going to be pi r square. This is one of the methods. This was the second method, where the diameter of the circle is equal to side of the square. So this is one more method where by interpretations of this we were able to get the area of circle as 3.14 into r square, or area of the square. So we are able to relate the square to the circle through the area. Now let's try to discuss about the perimeter also. So this is the logo that we are going to see. Now, looking at this logo, this can be fitted into the circle also. But yes, probably we need to look at a different view, which becomes quite critical, understanding in terms of mathematics and geometry. So first and foremost, we are going to see the perimeter of the circle. Now here, if we look out altogether, the perimeter is going to be 2 pi and circumference is going to be 2 pi. You can just find out on Google about perimeter of circle, and we'll get details about that on one of the websites which is there. So on this website, we'll be able to get more information. Let's say, for example, the side of the square is going to be pi divided by 2. Radius of the circle is 1. So perimeter is equal to 2 pi, and circumference, that is circumference of the circle, it's 2 pi, and whereas the perimeter of the square is also 2 pi. It does mean that we are trying to see that the perimeter of the square is equal to the circumference of the circle. Now, why this is important? Why? Because during olden days, they didn't had a methodology where they were able to calculate an area. It was just probably a thread which was been put across, and the same thread was being used for making a circle also. So that's why the length of the square, the circumference of the circle comes into existence, and we need to study more about that. So we take this as a basis where we understand that the perimeter of the square is equal to the circumference of the circle. Let's build on the basis of that and try to see how we will be able to look at the logo and fit into this part. So let's go step by step, just trying to enlarge the image and give us a better clarity on this part. Just like what we have done previously, we have drawn a vertical line and a horizontal line on the circle. So we have got 4 more coordinates, just like east, west, north, south, which do define as the equinox and the solstice points. If you want to go and understand more about the equinox on the solstice, you can just go on the previous videos on our YouTube channel and try to find more about that. But yes, here we have just tried to check on with these 4 important points, which are critical for us. Now, we don't only get 4 points, that is this 1, 2, 3, and 4 points, but we get 4 more important points which are there on the perimeter of the square. This is the first point, this is the second point, this is the third point, and this is the fourth point. How they are important? Let's try to interpret that. But here, the most important thing for us is the perimeter of the square is equal to the circumference of the circle. As we go further, what we have done is we have just tried to probably superimpose our logo on the circle. This corner of 90-degree is joined to the circle, and probably the same is been done over here. And what we have done is this point end points are again being joined more of like a triangle. So here probably we are just trying to put across with the logo same way over here with our circle and square, where the perimeter of the square is equal to the circumference of the circle. This method is also called as squaring the circle. Squaring the circle is a very important concept which need to be studied in detail. So by doing this, probably we have put those across the logo over here on squaring of the circle. Now, as we progress further, probably we need to just fine tune this diagram with joining certain points which again are critical. So as I told you, yes, this point is also very important. So probably we can just draw a line joining probably the opposite ends over here. This is what we should be getting, probably a clear view of the logo over here. As we progress further, this is what we will be getting. So probably with the point which was there on the perimeter of the square, we were able to probably get a 2D image. And the same thing what we did is probably the equidistance point from the top on the circle and on the square itself. Same way we have taken an equidistance point, probably marking this lines as parallel. So taking these parallel lines, we probably had one more line over here, and same way taking this parallel line over here, we have got this logo. So maybe this would be a more clear and better image which fits into the circle and the square only if we have squaring of the circle where the perimeter of the square is equal to circumference of the circle. And here we are able to fit across our logo over here. Now going further, what can be done is probably we can just mirror image this on the downside. So probably how that looks like. This is how this would be looking like. So in this way, squaring of the circle, squaring of the circle is a concept which probably we have listened to, or but we don't know what exactly has to be done and how is the interpretation of those parts. So by squaring the circle, we can get the logo over here, and this logo can be seen that we can have the same logo being interpreted as on squaring of the circle part. Fine. So this is the one thing. Probably we have also started with some membership services on our YouTube channel. You're free to go over there. Probably we'll be uploading some videos also. If you think that is interesting, probably you can just join on the members as a member over here, and probably you'll be able to get some good services on that part. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you in a next interesting video in a similar way.